Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WWE. Jade Cargill and Triple H are listening to PWT confirmed.
Wrestling's not fake!
So Jade Cargill's recruiting her baddie section. And she's like, I'm tired of looking at you slobs, man. You guys do nothing for me. I'm sure the men could agree. And she wants her baddie section. She's recruiting. And I've been saying it, man. Listen, AEW's stolen so much from every wrestling company ever. I would just steal their one thing that worked well with Jade and just give her a baddie section. I always thought Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend were the perfect candidates for that. And then she's like the final boss, you know? But they kind of that up, I guess, with Mara Sade being gone and Lash Legend being with Nia Jax. So I don't know, but it'd be cool. She brought back the baddie section. Speaking of baddies, Bianca Belair signs with CAA as WWE return looms after injury layoff. So congrats to her signing with CAA, one of the big talent agencies there, and hopefully she lands some movie roles and some other, you know. Speaking of stars, Nikki Bella says she isn't hiding behind filters or fake captions. She's embracing her post-divorce confidence and being brutally honest about it. On the Nikki and Bree show, she says that she's been posting more thirst traps lately, and it's not about sending messages or chasing mystery. She says, I love thirst traps now because I need attention at times, and that's the only time I get attention since I don't text with anyone. So sometimes your girl needs to post a thirst trap to feel a little something. That's not good. We have a society of that where that. Listen, I'm not burying her. I'm not 42. Kind of sad. Not gonna lie. I'm sure there's a young suitor out there. Chat, throw your hats in the ring. She's single and looking to mingle clearly, but
emotional damage.
Moving along. NXT stars Hank Walker and Tank Ledger lost their GHC Tag Team Championships in Noah. So the same way Omos sort of won a title and then just like vacated it or just like dropped a title or whatever. Hank and Tank did the same thing with these tag belts.
74代新チャンプ新たなる GHC タッグ王者となりました。お見事新チャンピオン。いやー、斉藤さん。第74代。
Who's watching Noah? Speaking of watching, breaking news: due to a shoulder injury, Sheamus is not medically cleared to continue competition in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Hurt himself in that 6-man with John Cena, and basically he's replaced. The Undertaker has a 35-year legacy championship belt, and it's $850 for this Undertaker belt. Let's take a look at this, chat. What do you think? It's like the cruiserweight title or the something like that. I don't know. Some Undertaker mark himself. Him and his wife will both get a tag title set. And then the official graphic for Team Sami Zayn versus Team MFT. And it's a traditional Survivor Series. They use the old logo because nostalgia is key. Traditional Survivor Series. This will be on SmackDown on Friday, which rules. And it's just a traditional Survivor Series match on SmackDown on the Go Home show. I feel robbed. Like they should do this on the actual Survivor Series. But if War Games is going to invade the shit, that's cool. I also thought that Becky and AJ Lee were going to be a one-on-one, not for the title. Instead, they both got added to War Games just because women. And then, God damn it, they should have star-studded it and made it long. I thought this, and I feel like this is still true, but I think this Survivor Series is the last one that will be one night. I think they will present it as, okay, we have the War Games, we're setting up 2 rings, 2 nights in a row. This will be a 2-night event. The Big Four will then be 2 nights. The Saudis want a 2-night Survivor Series, I'm sure, because they want a War Games match out there, because they like the gimmick matches and shit. So they're saving the traditional matches for the Go Home show. Awesome. At least they've spent time on the show making us care about this shit. and it's a match to look forward to, I actually am. I know that it's kind of random thrown together. Hey, that's what traditional Survivor Series matches are. So that's where you get away with it. You know, you be selective about where you randomly throw guys together and debut people or put a super team together or whatever, or have a faction versus faction war. And this is, you found the right time, and it's all been on SmackDown. So the payoff's on SmackDown. I love it. And I think that come the next year or two, we will see. I was going to save this for end of the year predictions. Maybe I'll still use it as one and cop out if I can't think of 5 solid ones this year. But I think in the next year or two, we'll see Survivor Series go to 2 nights, and then we'll see like one night will be, here's the men's War Games and the women's traditional Survivor Series, and then the other, and then like like 2 other matches, and then the next night will be like the vice versa of that. And I'm excited for this one. I am. And I love how Sami Zayn put over, like, we're an international super group. Like, we have one of the best tag teams from America of all time. Like, I'm fucking Canadian and I'm beloved in the Middle East, and I'm fucking one of the best, you know, I'm one of the best indie guys of all time. We got Rey Fenix, one of the best luchadors of all time. We got the literal king of strong style from Japan. Right? Like, I fucking love how he put that over on SmackDown. That was great. And the MFTs all painted up like the GODs. I'm here for all of that. NXT. The CW network is allegedly frustrated about Nielsen's big data plus panel measurement for TV ratings. Now, I hate to give Dave Meltzer too much credit, but a lot of people said this would happen. And because Dave was saying it, I was very much like, fuck that, because I don't care. I just hate. I'm a Dave hater. I don't care. What do you sue me? You know, I don't give a fuck. But maybe Dave bass flute, because he was like, it's a disaster for both companies, and I was like, I doubt WWE cares that much, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll give him credit. I'll give him a point. He scored a basket on me. What can I say? According to WrestleNomics, though, so 30. But CW Network is frustrated about Nielsen's big data plus panel measurement for TV ratings. We've expressed to Nielsen our deep frustration with the way it handled the process, communication, and methodology behind its big data rollout. Boo fucking who? You know I don't give a shit. If Tony Khan was crying about the shit, I'd have the same answer. Boo hoo, right. Motherfucker. The numbers are what they are. They do. Either you trust them or you don't. We'll play the game if you want to play it. WWE's still fucking the number one pro. Who cares? NXT, you're still beating Dynamite. You know, who gives a fuck? What are you crying about? Yeah. So the sudden and substantial,
much to do about nothing.
Yeah, exactly. The sudden and substantial discrepancy in NXT viewership reported by Big Data relative to long-established viewing patterns is inexplicable and lacks credibility. Pause.
What?
Now, I don't know as much as CW and NXT fucking people and whatever. I will say this, though. It's coming from the same people who gave the other numbers, just that they claim this is a more accurate and transparent version of those numbers. So pause about the lacks credibility. And then inexplicable. Well, no, they explain it. And inexplicable, I think every other sport is like seeing better ratings that they're happy about other than pro wrestling in general, which my friend Switchblade has pointed out. Like, wrestling in general is seeing like lower than, this isn't hitting the way they thought it was going to. But who gives a fuck, because it's all about streaming now, isn't it? So why are we crying?
Well, plus, I don't think they seem to realize, and this is something that I've spoken about quite a few times, is because a lot of people talk about streaming and cord cutting and all this stuff. I myself have been a cord cutter for over a decade. Yeah. And I did research into things when I started doing it. A lot of people don't realize this, but if you have Sling TV, which is one of the bigger cord cutting companies here in the US, you're automatically counted towards Nielsen. You have to physically go into the options and opt out of being a Nielsen household. That automatically said, if you have YouTube TV in America, or if you have Hulu Plus in America, like so the Hulu Live feed, what do you call it? Does the Hulu Live streaming? Those are also counted towards Nielsen currently. So there's actually a more accurate number for Nielsen now than there was 15 years ago. No one wants to hear that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right about that. And I've been more critical of WWE as of late in areas where I think they need to be criticized for. And I know me and you butt heads on shit like Lash Legend. You're like, fuck her. And I'm like, dude, she's awesome. You know? Definitely I'll defend them where I think they need defending. But I think this is like, whoa, you guys are coping a little bit here. You know what I mean? Like, just let the numbers, just play the ball where it lies. Don't start coping. Just don't start coping, man, because then Dave is going to come. Like, Dave's going to try and have a field day with this if he hasn't already. We are disappointed by Nielsen's lack of cooperation, transparency, and accountability with its network partners as we work to resolve the issue. Like, whoa, that's a pretty like big statement, you know? I think that everything will be all right, but it's all streaming though too. Like our like it's all replayability, and then what are your YouTube numbers? And
right.
And then look at this. So read these stats. So they're NXT saying this, WWE saying this to this, and the CW are saying this rather. And WWE and NXT continue to post numbers and stats like this. And it's like, well, let's focus on this, CW. But on Tuesday, thank you, Raj Giri, NXT scored its second best audience since Nielsen changed to big data plus panel methodology, with big increases in the 18 to 49 demo. It averaged 650. Dynamite did 490 after Blood and Guts. It shows you. Bunch of people who will watch NXT that night, they'll go over and watch some Blood and Guts if it's fucking some of them, some other people who've fallen off of wrestling or AEW entirely. But either way, up 17% from the previous week, 0.11 in the key demo, which is up 57%. Both the audience and the 18 to 49 were the best since the 10-14. Year over year was down only 3% in total viewers, but the 18 to 49 was down 42. Damn. Last year's numbers were ranked using the old Nielsen panel only, which is more favorable for wrestling shows. So again, NXT, I mean, I would focus on, hey, we did our second biggest rating since the flip over to the new methodology, and we're all getting used to it. And some things are unanswered. I wouldn't be like fucking Nielsen with there, because nobody had a problem touting Nielsen when it looked favorable for NXT. Right. Still does, by the way. This all still looks good for NXT. So that's my opinion. I don't know. What do you make all this?
Like I said, it's just they want to. They have a little bit of a gripe just because, you know, they were getting a different set of numbers before they started using the measurement system. One of the other things too is that they don't seem to realize is, as I just mentioned, how cord cutters are counted towards Nielsen. The problem is most cord cutting services
takes place in
America. Well, no, shut up. Most of those cord cutting services don't have the CW on them. The CW is an air station, which if you have a digital antenna, you can do it. But unless you have a cable provider, like you don't watch CW live, you've got to watch, like I've got to watch NXT on the app the next day, because even with a digital antenna, the reception is shit. So I can't watch it live. I have to watch the replay. That's one of the, it's one of the things where they did this new measurement system, and they're kind of on the wrong side of the tracks on that, because CW isn't offered on as many cord cutting services as it is, just because it's, open air technically.
So we can see here, if you guys are watching, if you're just listening, we have a chart pulled up here from Brandon Thurston, big data plus panel versus prior methodology for Reith and WWE and AEW ratings. So double-digit differences on same apps. CW questions credibility of Nielsen's new methodology. Statement from MRT CEO, insight from media consultant. So basically, it just shows you that WWE SmackDown on USA total viewership. So the green represents the big data plus panel. So you see that like a significant fucking boom. Like it's almost like this was bots. Are you looking, JJ? Like it's almost like this is bots in this gray area. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
What the fuck is that? That's like if a new guy buys Twitter and then all of a sudden they're like, well, actually, Elon Musk. It's funny. It's like, what's funny is like, they're all bots. So, dude, this is crazy. Just focus on the green, I guess, because that's all you can control, right? Like you were down when they were telling you what you thought was the real shit before. So what's to say the old shit wasn't real or whatever? And it's not good for AEW either. So it might look bad because of like shit they promised and shit they've sold people on, like Netflix or like these other, like ESPN, look at these numbers we've done. And then these new numbers are like, yo, it's way lower. And then ESPN's like, what the fuck? Or you didn't hit this or whatever. Maybe there's shit like that going on. I don't know. But CW, it's the CW. It's not like WWE's like, oh, fuck. It's CW being like, yo, fuck Nielsen right now. We're doing better numbers than that, but I don't know. I just lock in and keep doing good shows. And this is like a weird time where they rolled this thing out and ratings don't do good around Halloween and all this shit until I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just it was expected that the World Series and Halloween were going to do bad ratings. Dave Meltzer gets on the air and goes, the peak for WWE is over. What are you talking about, man? It's like this is every year this happens. And like more people are moving to streaming year over year for sure. But this just represents like, I don't know, man. Just take it. Don't start coping because then you get clowned. But either way, that's my take on it, I guess.
I don't understand this match.
Yeah, it's complete bullshit. There was an update, though, with comments added from the CEO of the Media Rights Council confirming Nielsen's big data is still accredited. He wasn't familiar with the discrepancies in wrestling viewership under the new methodology, but said they will consider those going forward. So George W. Ivey responded with a statement sent after the initial publishing of this article, confirming that Nielsen's national television measurement service, including big data and certain live sports streaming integrations, are still accredited by MRC. Our process is annual, and we conduct rigorous annual audits of the service. So I'm not even going to read all this. It's just this guy's like, dude, it's the same shit. We just have a more precise way with a larger scale or whatever of accumulating it, and it just seems like CW's coping a little bit. I got to play the ball where it lies. I call it down the line. That's how Phil Marks does it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE.